Hey, everybody. It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, August 1st, 2021. Now, Tara, you're not keeping any secrets from us that we're going to find out about soon that's going to make us feel betrayed. Now, are you? Are you? Me? Secrets? No, of course not. I would never lie to you. We're family. Cut to Jack and Kyle's devastated faces as they're waving a handkerchief saying bon voyage to the cute curly-haired boy that they've fallen in love with. Goodbye, Harrison. Sorry it didn't work out. Send our regards to Chemo. If Y&R were listening to Y&R Chat, which they're not, and this is why I know they're not, they would cast Chemo. The forgotten Abbott heir. That would blow the fans' minds, or at least this tiny subset of fans. I say get rid of Harrison and bring on Chemo. That's a fair trade, right? But Chemo is Jack's biological son. Harrison cannot be Kyle's biological son, right? When all of this shakes out, right? We know that Kyle is leaving the canvas. That's a fact. And Tara simply squeezing Summer out of Genoa City would not be enough to send Kyle running to Italy without his son. And nothing that Tara has done otherwise would warrant a judge giving Kyle full custody of Harrison. And then Kyle chooses to take Harrison with him to Italy, away from his new relationship with Grandpa Jack. It has to be that Tara rigged the paternity test results too, don't you think? And it's all gonna come out soon, right? Soon. Maybe. I hope. We're getting closer. Phyllis has continued her private investigation into Summer's disappearance. Sally and Tara have done something to her daughter. Her daughter. And Phyllis has made it her mission to find it out and make it right. For weeks now, Phyllis has been trying subtly and not so subtly to warn Jack that Tara and Sally are up to no good. And this week, Phyllis tried to warn Kyle that Tara and Sally are up to no good, that they are in this together, that they are connected to the reason Summer left town. And although Kyle had a whole lot of bluster early in the week, confronting Phyllis, telling Phyllis to leave the fair Tara alone, it was that confrontation between Kyle and Phyllis that was the successful seed of doubt being planted in his mind. Phyllis was also successful in planting a trap for Tara and Sally. Phyllis does this slickety-sly move where she distracts Sally with some line items on her hotel bill, which I thought that Phyllis kicked Sally out of the hotel a month ago after Jack dumped Sally the first time, but I guess not. Sally's still staying there. And while Sally was looking over the hotel bill, Phyllis put a pile of her own folders right on top of Sally's phone, which was just sitting on the table. Phyllis let the whole pile sit there for a minute and then just effortlessly picked the whole pile up, ran off to the bar, opened up Sally's phone. It was unlocked, of course. No passcode. And Phyllis sent a text message from Sally's phone to Tara saying, SOS, Phyllis has caught on to us. We need to meet. That Phyllis is just so smart and gorgeous and talented. How will we ever keep fooling her? Verbatim. And by the way, the whole thing with the phone and the text reminded me of the time that Phyllis also stole Sally's, I think it was like a hot pink laptop. It was a little hot pink laptop. And Phyllis opened it up, found Sally's search history, which included a whole bunch of articles on everything you'd ever want to know about the Abbott family and every member of the Abbott family. Whatever happened with that? Phyllis never turned that evidence over to Jack. I mean, I am actually pretty impressed with all that Phyllis pulled off there. I mean, she knew that Tara would come calling, and she recorded Tara and Sally arguing in the elevator, and then she did send that piece of evidence directly over to Kyle and Jack. And oh, it was so fun watching that elevator footage, and it was just so fun watching our two bad girls slowly figure out that they had been had. And it was also very satisfying watching Phyllis's face as she realized that she had been right. When Jack and Kyle questioned Tara about the video, Tara was able to use a few kernels of truth to pretty easily explain herself. She was explaining why she was arguing with Sally in the elevator as if she was just another victim. But somehow Sally was not so swift. Sally, when confronted by Jack, I guess made the mistake of trying too hard to deflect attention away from herself and onto Phyllis. And also, Sally did not immediately cop to the fact that she ever even saw the text message that came through to Tara's phone, which allowed Jack to catch Sally in a lie because, boom, video evidence. Tara did show Sally the text message in the elevator, but all of that seemed kind of minor to me. I mean, I thought Sally's explanation was equally as plausible as Tara's was, and yet Tara seemed to skate away and Sally didn't. It seemed that Jack was able to, at first, trust what Tara was saying, but it was when he talked to Sally that the red flags really started going off, and that caused him to bring the hammer down on their relationship. I don't think it was even so much this situation itself. I think it was more the fact that Jack was just being put in a position again of needing to confront Sally about something. That's been the pattern in his relationship with her. That's what ruined the relationship the first time around. And I think Jack's just in a place where he doesn't want to have to wonder whether or not the person he's dating is telling him the truth. He's been through enough of that over the years. So I think that Jack realized, even if he does want Sally, he doesn't fully trust Sally, and he would always be on the defensive with her, wondering if she was being completely honest with him. So, Jack and Sally's Part 2 week-long reunion has gone by the way of Victoria's front door. And on the day that Jack was wearing his custom-made teardrop of love cufflinks. Are you kidding me? That does it. Those cufflinks are cursed. Get those things out of the mansion immediately. Throw them into the trash. Right along with Kyle's teardrop of love money clip and all of the money in it, too. Oh, but as the week progressed, Tara does not get off scot-free after all. What a dope. She played the initial Sally situation exactly right. And then she made the mistake of standing in the middle of the Abbott living room to have a loud, suspicious phone conversation with Sally while Kyle was eavesdropping back in the Buddha room. I call it the Buddha room. In my mind. I've never said it out loud until now, but in my mind I always call it the Buddha room. It's that little room off to the left as you walk in the Abbott Mansion front door. There's a statue there that is probably not Buddha, but it makes me think of Buddha, so that's what I call it, the Buddha room. The Buddha room. To everyone who walks through the Abbott Mansion front door, that statue says, "This family is world travelers." John probably picked up that statue in Myanmar. He probably dragged it all the way home from Myanmar to Genoa City, strapped to his back. There's always so many little trinkets and tchotchkes in these old mansion homes, and I wish that someone would just pick up a tchotchke or point to the statue and give us a story around it. So if they haven't done that, then I'm just going to create a story myself. Oh. Well, speaking of world travelers, Angelina Marchetti, the jet-setting, world-famous fashion designer. Phyllis decides to give her a call directly. "Oh, hi, this is Angelina Marchetti. What can I do for you?" "Oh, sure. You're my new employee's mom. What can I do for you? I love talking to all of my employees' moms." Okay. Oh. Phyllis had a brainstorming session with Amanda, which was really great, by the way. It was nice to be reminded that they're supposed to be friends. But Phyllis and Amanda together were trying to crack the case of the missing summer. And Phyllis realizes that she needs to go directly to the source. Where did this Marchetti job come from anyway? So in the previews, we saw that Phyllis is going to LA to dig for dirt on Sally's Spectra, and the very best part is Eric Forrester gets it. Phyllis is talking to Eric Forrester, and he understands exactly why she's there. He sniffed this situation with Sally out way before now. He kind of knew there was something up there, and so now it's no problem for him to put two and two together on why Phyllis is there. And what Eric was saying to Phyllis in the previews was, "Okay, what has Sally done now?" I thought that was kind of cute and cool. So Phyllis is getting closer to the truth, and mostly I can't wait to see Tara go down in flames. It's Tara's downfall that I am waiting and wanting to see. The unfortunate thing for Phyllis is she can go ahead and expose Tara and or Sally. She can learn the whole truth, but none of this is going to bring Summer back. Phyllis had a chat with Billy this week, and he asks her, okay, let's say you're right. Let's say we're right. Let's say we expose Tara and Sally for all their evil deeds. Has it occurred to you that Summer might still not want to come back home? Yeah, it's occurred to me plenty. This is the end of Summer and Kyle's run on the show for now. And I think it's really too bad that Summer didn't get to be involved in taking Tara down. Summer obviously was still working for Y&R during this period. They just decided to slip her off into webcam land. Maybe this was just the transition period where they were still working on the contracts, hoping that it would all work out, but knowing that it might not. But it still feels, for the Summer character, like she ran away. Yeah. Sally and Tara did a bad thing, but Summer had all of the tools to defeat them, and instead she chose to run away. So seeing Phyllis do what Phyllis does best has been awesome. I just kind of wanted to see Summer take Tara down, or at least be involved in it somehow. I don't know, maybe Phyllis can just hold up her tablet while Summer tells Tara off behind bars or something. I don't know. It's just that it's Summer's life that got uprooted, and Summer's not even involved in trying to make things right. Nikki and Victor did visit Summer in Milan this week before heading off to the Leslie Brooks concert, which Nikki looked fabulous for. Victor also looked fabulous. Everybody looked fabulous and comfortable. Summer is always seen drinking an Italian soda, because she's in Italy. That's how I know she's in Italy. Italian soda. Oh, straight from the bottle. But Summer admitted to Nikki and Victor that she isn't happy yet. Being with Kyle doesn't feel right, but being in Milan does feel right. So there we go. That tells us how it's all going to end. I'm sure that that's the signal that Summer will be happy when she gets to have both the dream job in Milan and Kyle living with her there in Milan. Kyle will probably just go to work at the Jabot International Milan office because they probably have one. And if they didn't have a Milan office, they might just create one for him. Or maybe Kyle will just hop skip over to Paris for work with Ashley at My Beauty. Or maybe he will team up with Theo, who is also in Paris, and maybe Kyle can rival his way into the Mougeron boutique business while he's there. Finally, someone talked to poor little Harrison about what's going on with father. Is that right? Ashland is father, but Kyle is dad. I think that was the rules we established, yes? What's going on with father, Mummy? Mummy, what's going on with father? Kyle forces Tara to start working on a compromise with Ashland. She can't cut him out of Harrison's life altogether, and somebody needs to have a conversation to explain the death situation to him. I mean, hey, instead of letting him have nightmares, maybe somebody should talk to him about what he saw in the park. Is that a crazy idea? Yeah, right? I did like that scene. It was long overdue. It was very cute and very tender and I thought Richard Burgi did a really good job. He's such a gift to us. He's such an unexpected, wonderful gift to the show. I thought he did great with the child. Even you could tell that the child actor got a little squirmy. He was sitting on the couch, but then he moved to the floor out of the camera frame. And I mean, what a pro. He knew the camera's not picking up the kid. The camera is stationary. It probably just can't easily pan down to get the kid into the frame now. So Richard Burgi just picks up the kid, scoops him up into his arms, and it just worked so well to correct the situation, but also made it even more intimate than it ever would have been. Now he's holding his son in his arms, just like he would have when the child was a baby, just like he did as the child was a baby. This is the father that Harrison grew up with, and he's, telling him that he's feeling sick, but that he's, there's really good doctors that are going to help him get better. He totally ran with it, and it was so apparent and so good, and I enjoyed it. I also enjoyed seeing him tell Tara off. He tells Tara that he sees right through her, and he hopes that somebody else will see right through her too and expose her for who she really is. Well, your wish is about to come true, Ashland. Tara's about to become exposed for who she really is. Let's see what other wishes of Ashland's can be granted. Because Victoria was finally successful, hammering home her request for Ashland to get that miracle cure for the cancer so that they can be together. Victoria even went to Dr. Nate to ask him about the latest and greatest miracles that money can buy. Okay. I mean, okay, I know it's not exactly a miracle cure. I do grasp and appreciate the concept that they are experimental treatments that may or may not save Ashland's life, but will most definitely have some unpleasant side effects, and Ashland doesn't want to spend his final days feeling that. I get it. I mean, refusing treatment is not even all that completely uncommon. It's just the silliness of, oh, I'm dying, I'm just dying now, and then boom, miracle turnaround, dying is never dead in soaps. It's just the silliness of soaps. After his argument with Tara, Ashland walked into a really tender moment between Billy and Victoria in the blue room, which is a little bigger now. We have a dinette, but we are still missing the entryway and the front door and the staircase. And I swear, the living room does look like it's shrunk down. I should go back and look at old photos of Victoria's living room, because it seems like they've positioned the furniture in a different way now to make it all more compact. I noticed that everyone, including Billy, walked through the dinette to get to the living room, the main room. They did not enter through the front door, so the front door is, I guess, just gone. It got sucked away in that Kansas tornado. But, we've had some good scenes in that blue room. Billy was offering himself to Victoria as someone that she could talk to about all of her feelings for and about Ashland. And I thought it was really nice to see Billy and Victoria being friendly and supportive. And with tears in her eyes, Victoria admitted to Billy and later to Ashland himself that she loves Ashland, and it's just an awful torture thinking that she's going to be losing him so soon, falling in love with someone only to lose them so soon. But maybe now she won't have to. Maybe it was Victoria's confession of love to Ashland. Maybe it was bound determination to beat Tara Luck at her own game. But Ashland has suddenly decided to agree to seek treatment, and he tells Victoria that he loves her too. And in the previews for next week, Ashland is suggesting that they go on a honeymoon. Whoa! Okay, first of all, yes. Second of all, please let there actually be a honeymoon. Third of all, was it me or did Victoria look like she was shocked when he said that? We only saw a split second of her reaction after he mentioned honeymoon, but to me, I thought maybe that was the beginning of his proposal. Maybe that's how he starts his proposal, by saying, oh, we're going on this trip, blah, blah, blue, and we could go to this place for our honeymoon. And then maybe she's gonna be like, what, honeymoon? And he's gonna be like, yeah, you should marry me. And she should be like, okay, let's go. Let's go someplace tropical. That's what the viewers want, I think. I think I can speak for the viewers when I say I think we want a tropical honeymoon. I mean, it's obvious that she's going to say yes, right? It's hook, line, sinker, no doubt about it. The only question is, will Ashland make a full recovery in time to have a happy, long marriage with Victoria, happily ever after for 6 months, a total of 6 months, happily ever after, and so planned? Or is he faking his illness? I think that's still on the table. Or will we end up with a heart-wrenching, heart-breaking, tragic deathbed wedding? I did like Sharon's mini counseling session with Kyle and Tara, trying to help them figure out how best to break the news to Harrison that father is dying. Sorry, it's not funny. It's just funny. It was pretty clear that Kyle was the only one who wanted the help and that Tara resented it. And I think Sharon, being as intuitive as she is, picked up on that vibe wholeheartedly and was unsure about the whole thing. Plus, even though she was there, she wasn't really there. She would have much rather been somewhere else thinking about Adam. I have never seen a woman so befuddled purely by a man's presence as Sharon is with Adam. She can barely think straight. She can barely fill the salt shakers. She was nervously on the phone calling Rey, like, please come home as fast as possible to save me from my feelings for Adam. He was only gone for a couple days. I guess Sharon just cannot be left to her own devices. Whew. Well, Rey does come home on Friday. Thank goodness. I was so happy to see him. Someone has got to save Sharon from her bad boy lust before she hops on the back of Adam's motorcycle and they blaze out of this town together with cigarettes in their mouths. Oh. I have been talking for weeks now about how Sharon and Rey get to share no intimacy on the show. And this week, I realized, hold up, did Y&R actually do a cutaway from Rey and Sharon getting ready to kiss and then add kissing sound effects over the scene as they showed Adam's face reacting to it? I watched it 3 times. I'm pretty sure they did. Rey wanted a welcome home kiss from Sharon. They kind of allude to the fact that they're gonna go in for a kiss. Cut away from Rey and Sharon. Now we're looking at Adam's face, and you hear smoochity smooch smooch sounds over the scene in place of real smooches over the scene. On the scene. In the scene. The thing is, though, it sounds like even the actors are getting frustrated with the lack of intimacy, because I was looking around on my Y&R news sites this week, and I guess Jason Thompson, who plays Billy, has commented publicly about Victoria and Ashland's first I love you scene, and he was kind of frustrated, saying that it was missing a kiss at the end, which is very true. But he was also expressing some frustration about the fact that even though most of the cast is COVID vaccinated, that they're still required to be 6 feet apart in all of the scenes. And now that I think about it, I guess they are. Amanda and Devon also had their first I love you this week, and they did it from opposite ends of the couch. So I thought this might be an interesting place to put a poll question for the week at yrchat.com. I'd love for you to tell me, do you think that the on-screen social distancing is very obvious to you? Or are you in a place where you barely notice it anymore? I'm curious. Go to yrchat.com. Tell me if that's a really glaring thing that's sort of present on your daily watching that you're thinking, the social distance. Or have you kind of forgotten about it by now? Because to me, it's not blatantly obvious, and I didn't really even think about it. I guess I kind of thought, we're sort of back to normal. Maybe there's fewer kisses, fewer lovemaking scenes, but for the most part, things have seemed pretty normal to me, and I didn't think about it until I saw that article about Jason Thompson's comments. I don't even think I barely noticed it at all. So I guess in retrospect, maybe it's not just Sharon and Rey who are having this lack of intimacy, and it's only because Adam and Sharon, the two actors who play them, are together in real life, so there needs to be no restriction there. So I guess it's just everybody except Brighton and Brittany and Sharon and Mark who have to keep the 6 feet of social distance. Although, to be fair to my theory about Sharon and Rey, most couples, including Amanda and Devon and Victoria and Ashland, have had at least one post-COVID kiss. I'm pretty sure that Sharon and Rey have had none. But as much as I love Sharon and Rey, and I would be happy to see them stay together, Sharon and Rey also show very little emotional intimacy. It seems like Y&R doesn't take a ton of time to show them being together and building their new life at home, just like being cute on the couch, hanging out, anything like that. I mean, they certainly talk, they're married, but it just doesn't, it seems like Y&R goes more out of their way to show the intimacy, emotional intimacy between Adam and Sharon as opposed to Rey and Sharon. And it's clear that Sharon loves Rey. It's clear that Sharon respects Rey, and certainly Sharon has chosen Rey. But the heart wants what the heart wants, and Sharon's heart has been wanting it for 2 years now, and so has Adam's. So I think we just need to get on with it if that's the direction we're gonna go. Rey has returned from his trip full of compassion for Chelsea, so maybe it is time that we just mix up these couples. Give the hearts what they want and give the show a jolt of something new and different. In the spirit of giving the show a jolt of something different and maybe mixing up the couples, is anyone else getting hate sex vibes from Chloe and Adam? Like, maybe they might have hate sex, soon. I mean, there is like so much pent-up frustration there. One crazy late night at the office might just pop that bubble forever. Can you imagine it? Can you even imagine it? I mean, I know it's a wild theory, but wilder things have happened. Sharon went on to have a burning romance with Adam after he baby swapped Faith, gave Faith to Ashley, and let Sharon think that her daughter was dead. So why couldn't Chloe flip a switch and have a burning affair with Adam? I mean, wouldn't that be just the thing to drive the fans mad? I mean, you know, half of the people would be like, whoa, awesome! And then half the people would be like, no, I hate it. How could that be? So, like, that in that way, it kind of makes me want it even more. I love the storylines where it just makes the fans go half and half. But also, I guess I'm an agent of chaos a little bit here, too, because I think that could be the thing that's the catalyst for switching up a bunch of other couples, too. Like, if Chloe and Adam started having an affair, Sharon would go wild with jealousy. She could break it off with Rey, reunite with Adam because the Chloe-Adam thing was only temporary. Rey can run to Chelsea, tell Chelsea that she was right all along about Sharon and Adam, and then they fall in love. Chloe can reconcile with Kevin on screen or off screen, maybe in Milan. I don't know. I just want something different. I mean, yeah, Adam's single, but Chloe's not, and she has those 2 kids and everything, but we never see them. And yeah, I like Kevin and Chloe, but we don't really see him all that much either. Chloe is on the show way more than Kevin, and I get the feeling that we're maybe gonna kind of be stuck with Chloe as a placeholder for Chelsea until Melissa Claire Egan returns from her maternity leave. So, I mean, we've got Chloe there working at Newman Media every day under Adam's irresistible sex ray gun. His sex ray that he keeps in his pocket, his front pocket. I mean, there's so much tension there. Chloe reported for her first day at work at Newman Media, and she was checking Adam's office for booby traps. I mean, that was funny. It was like a funny tension between them. And I thought it was kind of cool in a way that Adam and Chloe both had a sense of humor about their distrust of one another. There's a little spark there, a little something. And then Chloe always has to go back to her default. Like maybe Chloe found herself liking Adam a little bit in that moment, being like, all right, maybe he's not such a bad guy. And then she had to flip immediately back to her default position, thinking that he was up to something, and that the job was all a ruse, and he was just messing with her. She seriously spiraled out of control like it was the missing Mariah mystery. It's like, wait a minute, Chloe, you're so out of control. You need to get in on speculating about who getting at Mariah. I'm sure you could give us some theories. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I'm thinking like, Chloe, come on. Come on. He's not messing with you. This is a legit job offer. Just he's obviously trying here. He gave you a cush office with the refrigerator. She's going to get that ergonomic chair that she requested. He's pretty much given her an open budget. So what's the problem, Chloe? Just take your office keys and get back to work. The world needs another fashion website. Dr. Nate is not going to let his medical protege get away from him that easily. I mean, Yeah, honestly, a career as a hotshot music producer probably does sound a whole lot more appealing to a young man than being a hospital dweller. But Nate is still pushing for it. Nate is taking on the stern dad role, and it's kind of unattractive. It's sort of like the dad role, the dad that pushes the kid into the career they want to have, or forces the kid into the family business just because it's been multiple generations of family who've worked it, or maybe the dad makes the kids play the sports that he would have wanted to play, date the type of women that he would have wanted to date. And Sweet Faith is waving her hand in the background, like trying to inject herself to be an advocate for Moses the way that Moses was an advocate for her, saying, oh, hey, Nate, shouldn't we maybe all just want Moses to be happy? Yeah. Yeah. I think that we are going to need the smooth wisdom of smooth Devon Hamilton to smooth all of this out. That's what Devon is there for, smoothing things out. But we have to wait until he's done putting the smooth moves on Amanda first, of course. So, Amanda and Devon. They are in such a good place right now. I love the chemistry between Bryton James and Michelle Morgan. I always have. They are so comfortable together, so casual together, just sitting on the couch, 6 feet apart, eating cheese and crackers and ice cream, and she's lounging around in the shirt that she peeled off of him when they decided to not go out for dinner that night. I love it. I love it. Everything with the Sutton story has become so complicated and so convoluted and just so kind of boring at this point that it was just a real treat to get back to basics on those two, Amanda and Devon, acknowledging how far their relationship has come. It started out as a bizarre rivalry between them, and they ended up in love. That's right, love. It has been declared. They both admitted their feelings of love for each other this week, and I am so happy for them both, especially Devon. I mean, how many men lose their beautiful, beloved wife only to have a beautiful, beloved twin sister pop up and take her place? And now, this is a little number I call Saving the Best for Last. Oh, thank goodness! Mariah has been kidnapped! Yay! I have never been so happy to find out that someone has been kidnapped before. I feel like I should throw a party. Maybe celebrate with a mock kidnap meal, just like the one that Mariah received down the dumbwaiter. Yes! Eggs and toast and a side of prenatal vitamins. I don't know about you, but I feel so much better knowing that Mariah is at least being well taken care of. I think that now we just need to get her outfitted in a velour jumpsuit to really complete the look. Velour jumpsuit. Maybe a little something from the Chelsea 2.0 Spring of 2021 Stroke collection, huh? I'm thinking maybe shades of brown and orange to match the room that she's being held in. I swear, if they had Mariah in a velour jumpsuit, I would have hit the roof. Recycled straight from Chelsea. I bet they will at a point. Let's keep an eye on it. Keep your eyes open for a velour jumpsuit, folks. When you are incapacitated in this town, velour jumpsuit. I'm not knocking it. I gotta get me one. Oh. Seriously, though, I am so happy to be wrong. I am wrong. Mariah was kidnapped. Oh my goodness, it took way too long to get to the point, but I am grateful that Y&R has gotten to a point. Except, no big shocker, the preview for next week, everybody's getting another mysterious group text from Mariah. Something ain't adding up about it, and yet everyone is just standing around talking about how it's weird and doing nothing about it. I mean, this could still go on for weeks. We could still have no answers weeks from now. But I actually will be shocked if Y&R is playing it straight on this one. Creepy Stitch creeping around outside the windows. Last one to see Mariah in the park. Not a red herring at all? Really? Okay. Stitch just kidnapped Mariah. Okay. I don't know why that would be. Better be good, Y&R. Better be good. He just came back to town to kidnap Mariah. Alright. I mean, he lied and told everyone that he's becoming the new chief of surgery at Genoa City Memorial Hospital, a job that rightfully went to my future husband, Dr. Nate, all shirtless and jogging in the park to celebrate his victory. I cupped my hands and said to my screen, "Thank you, Lord, for this bounty." I must have been a good girl. Amen. Woo! If Stitch was gonna lie and tell everybody that he got the job of being the chief of surgery at Genoa City Memorial, he should have picked something easier. If he was gonna pick a fake job to have, he should have picked something way more low key. Chief of surgery is a high profile job. Surely somebody would have seen a newspaper announcement about it, or talked about it, or mentioned a surgery, or something. Connect the dots that he is lying. But lying about the job doesn't necessarily mean he's the one to have kidnapped Mariah, right? I don't know. I haven't known for weeks. But I read an article that said that Sean Kerrigan was asked to stay around. He's asked to stay at Y&R for longer than was originally planned. So they obviously didn't plan him. If he was only supposed to be for a short amount of time, then they obviously didn't plan from the beginning to make him a kidnapper. But now they're decided to bring him on longer. So I don't know. Maybe they're going to keep him as they work toward the climax of this kidnapping, and or maybe they're gonna build him up for a longer term, like for another relationship with Abby after Chance is dead. But I don't know, he certainly does look suspicious right now. Was he just brazenly daring Tessa to use the phone tracking app to find Mariah's phone? The Kidden app? The Kidnap? Get it? The kidnapping app? Kidnap? I gotta work on developing that. The Kid app. And then you log on and you can track somebody's phone that way. It's the same concept, I just have a more clever name. Developed specifically for the citizens of Genoa City. But Stitch would have had to make sure that Mariah's phone was blocked, because it came up as blocked. And then Stitch would have had to have been inserting himself into everyone's conversations to figure out their level of suspicion, like practically all of the Y&R chatters have already said. Okay, fine, I admit it. I have no problem admitting that I'm wrong. I have no idea what's going on here. I'm glad to be wrong. I'm happy you guys were right and that she was kidnapped. You usually are right. So that's that. I'm all right. She's kidnapped, but I still ask you this. What is the end game here? And how does it lead back to Chance? And for the love of God, when does it lead back to Chance? And could Nina be playing a role in Mariah's disappearance? Could Nina have something to do with this, good or bad? Tell me, oh wise chatters. I feel like we are the Freemasons of Y&R. The Royal Order of the Chats, the secret group who rules the world of Genoa City. I hear a big old butt on the end of that. That was last week's quote. I hear a big old butt on the end of that. The answer was Devon. He was talking to Moses about his career opportunities, and Moses was saying, medical career sounds great. And Devon said, I hear a big old butt on the end of that. You know me, I love a double entendre. Lynn, Henry, Daisy, Heather, Nancy, how are ya? Jamie, Adam, and Diana. You guys all got it right this week. I didn't think anybody was going to get that one, but I never know. Maybe you won't get this one, or maybe you will. I don't believe in coincidence. People make their own luck. I don't believe in coincidence. People make their own luck. Who said it? If you think you know, go to yrchat.com to leave your guess. And if you get it right, I will give you your shout out on next week's Y&R Chat. Okay, everybody. Time for your comments. Starting out with Superplex, who says, Abby is such a pessimist. The reason why Mariah isn't coming isn't that she doesn't want to, it's because she's been kidnapped. Yes, we had that preview on Friday where Abby is saying Mariah's not coming home. And you kind of get the sense in Abby's face that she's thinking maybe Mariah has decided to just run away with the baby. So now we're going to enter into weeks and weeks of just expounding more theories. Basically all the theories that we've had over the course of the past, 3 weeks? 3 to 4 weeks? Now Abby and Tessa and Nina and Sharon are probably going to be entering into. So now it's the point where we know Mariah's been kidnapped and we just get to watch everyone stand around and not guess it. Hooray! Well, Diana says, if Nina does have Mariah hostage, I wonder if Nina is following her son's orders. Is it possible that Chance believes the baby's in danger regarding the mission he's on, and therefore he told Nina to keep Mariah safe? At first I theorized it was because Nina had her own baby stolen in the past, but now I think Nina could be working with Chance. Hey, if Neil can be forgiven for kidnapping Hillary, so can Nina. Oh, yeah. Good, Diana boy. You bringing this theory. Oh, it is so good. That adds such a great new layer of speculation to that story that it's actually pretty pleasing and pretty interesting. And I like that. I do like the idea that Nina could have kidnapped Mariah to save her or to keep her out of harm's way. The only thing is, though, why wouldn't she just tell Mariah? Why wouldn't she say, you gotta stay here. You're in danger, girl. Girl, you in danger. Molly, you in danger, girl. No, she did not. If she did do it, she's keeping mum about the whole thing, and I don't know why she would need to. But then again, none of this is. We're gonna all go ugh. There's so many holes that we're gonna get the answer, and then we're all gonna go ugh. Plot holes. I'll predict that for the future. Victoria says, I don't think Mariah is in the soundproof room at the mansion. I thought Esther mentioned that it was a study, but I'm probably wrong. This looks like a bedroom instead of a study, which has been converted. I think Stitch is holding her in his rental. I wonder if Tessa will enlist Kevin to find his friend, Mariah. Ooh, wouldn't that be creepy if Abby went to go pick out a rental with Stitch and that's where he's holding Mariah hostage? Oosh. But Sherrod says, I was thinking the same thing about Tessa getting Kevin to help locate Mariah. But I think this writing team forgot that Mariah and Kevin were best friends. They've not been in any scenes together since July 2019 at the carnival. Oh, Lord, is that the carnival that Kane and Tracy went to? That's what I remember from the carnival. I remember it was great, but I also remember enjoying seeing Kane and Tracy take a stroll through there. But yes, okay, I wanted to make sure to highlight this because this is a great point. Kevin and Mariah were best friends, and that just dropped away. He has no relationship with her. Even he's come back into town and several times and has not interacted with her. He would be a great person to bring in on this investigation, but I think you're right that that relationship really hasn't been pursued. You know, Kyle and Mariah are supposedly close too. Kyle hasn't had a chance to think about the fact that Mariah is missing. I mean, she's not at work. Okay, fine. If all things were personal, fine. But like, don't you think at work they might go, hey, we haven't heard from our boss in a while? I mean, I think, let's see, Mariah took Summer's old job at Jabot. It was like a head of marketing position, I want to say. So don't you think there are employees at Jabot right now going like, we have not heard from our boss in weeks now. What's up with this? Yes. Oh, I still think we're going to be stretching for another several weeks on this. I think there's a really good possibility we're going to see some stuff blow up next week when it comes to Tara. But that seems like the heat's getting pretty close. But I think we're on this Mariah storyline for several weeks still to come. Jamie says, so the news that Nate is the new chief of surgery looks bad for Stitch, but is it really gonna be that simple? I'm so lost on all the whodunit theories at this point that I'll be surprised no matter who the culprit turns out to be. That's kind of how I feel too, Jamie. And I think the thing that's been throwing me off the whole time too about Stitch is that it is too obvious. I mean, Y&R had him lurking outside the windows. I mean, they went to some trouble to make him look creepy. And it was out of the blue. It's just, okay, Stitch is back, and then the next episode the creep now. And so the fact that it was too obvious is what threw me off. Henry says it is sort of obvious that Stitch is holding Mariah captive. Who better than someone with a medical background to be giving her the necessary vitamins, etc. for her pregnancy? Stitch has somehow lost his way, and I think he was brought back to the cast for an impactful storyline. That is a good point, though, that Stitch is a doctor, so he would be in a position to monitor Mariah and make sure she has the medical care that she needs, too. T. Nicole says, why is Sharon not showing way more concern over Mariah? Sharon would know if this was out of Mariah's character. And Rey is with the police force. Why not have him search for Mariah? Maybe he can track signals of her cell phone more than what the app can. This just baffles me. Yeah, we gotta get Rey on this. Yeah! Sharon needs to wake up and get Rey on this. Well, let's see. Leslie says Chelsea doesn't even have an ankle bracelet. Just a GPS-enabled cell phone. Oh, there's another baffling thing. Yeah, Leslie. And that brings me to another point. Does anybody get the feeling that Chelsea is about to run? I don't know. I still just don't really believe Chelsea's total turnaround. She had the webcam chat with Chloe on Friday, and she was acting like everything's water under the bridge with Adam, and I can't believe I got so crazy. I mean, ultimately, it wasn't Adam's fault, which I almost also kind of think was Chelsea's, way of setting Chloe free of anything that she would need to be mad about when it came to Adam and Chelsea's relationship so that Chloe can feel totally comfortable to bone Adam on the desk. I think Chelsea was absolving Adam so that Chloe could go ahead and sleep with him. But I also just keep thinking to myself, oh, well, asked Chelsea to send Connor back to Genoa City before she was ready, and she acquiesced. I did not expect that. I thought that Chelsea was going to say, heck no, I haven't seen my son in all these months. He just got here. I'm keeping him. And the way she smirked about it, I almost thought, is she going to run with Connor or something? But I still kind of wonder if it is possible that Chelsea will still decide to go on the run, and maybe Rey will go running after her. Ellen says, Chelsea is a lifelong con artist and grifter, Rey, and you are very gullible. Yeah, I mean, Rey did the complete turnaround on Chelsea's character. She poisoned him, for crying out loud. And he's coming back to town saying, you know, I think Chelsea really means what she's saying. I think she really is feeling better now. See, Rey, it's okay if Rey gives Chelsea the benefit of the doubt, but it is not okay if Sharon gives Adam the benefit of the doubt. Probably because there was a marriage there. I mean, in his mind. Adam's not just anyone. It's Sharon's ex-husband. Well, Kirsten says, I think it would be interesting to see Rey and Chelsea return with feelings for each other, and it would be cool to see Rey struggle with the same feelings for Chelsea as Sharon had toward Adam. I cannot see Rey physically cheating on Sharon, but at the same time, we have to remember that Rey isn't all that innocent when it comes to relationships. Remember when he dated his brother's ex-girlfriend, Mia? Eventually, Sharon and Rey could both admit to each other that they have feelings for other people and move on. Yeah, if Sharon and Rey are going to break up and go be with other people, I do hope it's amicable. I hope that they're just kind of like, all right, you know, Rey kind of has feelings for Chelsea, Sharon has feelings for Adam, let's just shake hands and keep moving. I know that wouldn't happen because we need the drama of it. But what I like specifically about your comment, Kirsten, is that you're mentioning, well, I mean, Rey's not exactly squeaky clean, right? Did he have, well, let's see, no, I think it was Arturo that had the affair with Mia. I can't remember, but yeah, Arturo was dating Mia. And then something happened between Rey and Mia. They went off and got married. But I think Mia still pined for Arturo the whole time. And then she came in and had the affair with Arturo. And they went off and had the baby. Is that right, how I'm remembering it? Well, let's hear from Sue W. on a different topic. Sue W. says, I am not liking where so many stories are going right now. I have zero interest in watching Ashland deteriorate or fight or die or even gasp, be cured, while the rest portray despair and stoicism. Blech! Please no soapy dying and death melodrama. Where is the explosive twist of Ashland faking his illness? Y&R is missing major story potential if they don't pull through on this plot, and it's looking like they won't, at least not without some major spin that's going to need to happen pronto if it's to make any sense at all. Yeah, Superplex says, I totally agree. Nothing less than Ashland pulling a scam would be a major disappointment. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I kind of feel like maybe Y&R started in that direction and changed their minds. I don't know. Or maybe they left it open to be able to change their minds, but it seems more now like the focus is the romance between Victoria and Ashland and that there's not going to be a twist. But Superplex's wish instead is early April Fools. Ashland survives, grabs hold of Newman Enterprises, Daddy Victor will not be happy, and Victoria eats crow for falling in love too soon. Yeah, I think that would be an interesting twist. It sure would be heartbreaking for Victoria, though, if she's being deceived on this level. All levels. T. Nicole says, I am not very into the Ashland and Victoria storyline. If they amped it up where we saw Ashland hiding his fake illness, then that would get way more interesting. But for now, it's not doing much for me. It's just talk about Ashland being sick and how Victoria loves him. So is that the consensus? Are you guys not into the Victoria-Ashland romance? Would you rather see the twist than the romance? Which would you rather it be? Ashland and Victoria falling in love or Ashland betraying Victoria by faking his illness. Ooh, leave me a comment and let me know what you would like to see on that. Gary says, I'm content enough with the story. But here again, we have another situation with the clever Chatters working overtime on another plot that turns out to be just as uncomplicated as it first appeared to be. Chatters show us that there is always so much more they could be doing with all their stories. Originally, Y&R's soap concept was to not tell outrageous tales with kidnappings, mistaken identities, evil twins, explosions, and back from the dead. But that was forced to go by the wayside 40 years ago. And yeah, I mean, 40 years, I've been watching Y&R for 25 years. So pretty much the whole time that I've been watching soaps, it's been a lot of that. The outrageous tales, the kidnappings, the evil twins. So that's kind of what I come to expect as a newer, you know me, only 25 years, a newer soap fan. I come to expect those types of outrageous twists. And so I guess that's why I'm always looking for them. But as you say, Gary, it's like here we have another situation where it's like the plot turns out to be as uncomplicated as it first appeared to be. It's a straightforward point A to B plot, and it's all of the fans who are spinning out with the wild theories. Lara says, I've been loving the Tara-Sally storyline from the get-go, but even more now that it's bringing out Phyllis's fabulousness. This is peak Phyllis. She's fearless. She knows she's going to get blowback, but she is driven and passionate above all. Yeah, I really liked the way Jack said that about Phyllis too. Like, you know what? She's crazy. She has a whole lot of stunts, but you know what? Her gut's usually right. So I liked that Phyllis got cred there, because it did kind of feel like Jack was shooting the messenger in all of this. We as the fans and the omniscient perspective, we know Phyllis is right. So it's hard to not, root for Phyllis. And then we have Jack coming in and wanting to shoot the messenger, and it made me want to defend Phyllis a little bit more. But yes, Phyllis is very enjoyable in all of this. I also really liked her conversation with Amanda, saying she kind of alluded to it about the paternity stuff and the fact that she knows women like that because, well, we'll just say she's had some experience. Phyllis also has that self-awareness that right now she is on the side of righteousness. She's trying to expose the lie, but back us up 20 years and she was the liar. So yes, Phyllis has been really great in all of this. Daisy says, I think once Sally and Tara feel their backs are up against the wall, they will push back with a vengeance. And the only person they will blame and want to hurt is Phyllis. They might end up hurting Amanda as well. Oh, I like this idea, Daisy, because this theory doesn't pull Tara off the canvas once her lie is exposed. This theory gives us all of the juicy drama of exposing Tara and then finding out what she's going to do to retaliate. And you make a great point that if Tara and or Sally are going to retaliate, Phyllis is going to be their target. Jamie says, I'm all in for Nick to be Phyllis's sexy, supportive partner in crime. It'll be a huge bummer if he pulls the old calm down, babe, you're acting crazy bit. Feeling pretty optimistic, though, that he'll be on board. Even Jack and Kyle can smell the stink now, albeit not fully distrustful of the treacherous twins. They're at the very least starting to catch on. Yeah, I think admittedly, I did see a little bit of a preview. I watched a preview of this particular situation for next week. I don't want to spoil, but I do think that Nick is going to be supportive of Phyllis because, after all, I mean, Summer's his daughter too. He saw the hurt, he saw the heartbreak, and I think Nick is going to want to know why. Oh man, I think this is, Sherrod. I wrote down Sharon. I was one letter off. Sherrod has this great comment saying, Phyllis going after Sally and Tara makes no sense. If she wants to know if they had anything to do with Summer leaving town, ask Summer. Oh my gosh, yes, Sherrod, so much truth there. Ask Summer. I mean, I think both Phyllis and Nick didn't want to push Summer too hard for answers, but I mean, there's 2 points in here. First of all, yeah, ask Summer, but second of all, this was still Summer's decision to leave town. I mean, nobody packed Summer's bags for her and put her on a plane and sent her away. Summer still chose to leave. Summer still chose not to fight. Summer still chose not to expose Tara herself. She just quietly stepped back. She didn't ask a whole lot of questions. So I think Summer's culpable in all of this too. Sue W says, Kyle and Jack are in such a frenzy now, as though everything else is immaterial but for the catfighting. I'm beginning to hope that when all is revealed, Summer won't actually want Kyle back after all of his recent morose lollygagging. It's seeming too predictable and tidy and humdrum for them to ride off together and off the show into the proverbial sunset. But I guess my bet is that that's where things are headed. I'll accept the sweetness of it all if I must. Yes, I think Stu W, predictable might be the right word to describe the current writing. I think we could have probably figured this out a month ago that, whatever, we're going to expose Tara, all the stuff's going to go down, Kyle's going to run to Milan, there's going to be an on-screen sweet reunion between Kyle and Summer, and they ride off into the sunset. I mean, that's fine with me as long as we get that juicy drama and the expose with Tara. T. Nicole says, Kyle, please play this smart. Act like you're on Tara's side. All the while team up with Phyllis or do your own snooping. You don't want to let Tara and Sally know you're on their case because they will cover their tracks. But instead, show them proof of the scheme they have done. Yes. Kyle, play it smart. And you know that's not going to happen coming out of Kyle. But I felt the same way about Summer, too. Summer, play it smart. You have all the tools here. Act like you're accepting of it and you're not doing anything. Play it cool and then turn around and bring down the hammer. Do your own investigating. I mean, neither Summer or Kyle have really been all that involved in investigating any of this, in asking too many questions at all. That's exactly what I was saying last week. It's like everybody else is busy scurrying around trying to pick up the pieces of Summer and Kyle's life. Anybody and everybody but Summer and Kyle. Superplex says Tara will have those 2 numbskulls eating out of the palm of her hand once again the second she puts on that "Oh, poor sweet me" act. Do you think there's any universe where Tara gets out of this scot-free? I don't know. I just keep thinking Tara's going to get exposed and go away, but I think that I heard she signed a year contract. So, maybe we are going to see her get exposed, and then we're also going to see what her next level of retaliation is. Are we ever going to find out about the brother? That's another piece of the puzzle that's floating out there, the brother. And then we also have Ashland's paternity test that we know he had ran. Those are the things that I want resolved, and I want them to matter. Gary says, right? If it were not for Kyle exiting the show after this diversion of Tara falling under suspicion, she would smoothly put the numbskull's suspicions to rest, where she would then continue on living the life of Riley under the Abbott roof for at least another 2 years in marriage, or one way or another. But that was Y&R, the classic years where life in Genoa City moved along at a snail's pace. Think of it, if Tara does get busted and ousted, she only just moved into the mansion a few weeks ago and really hasn't gotten to first base with anyone. A far cry from Jill Abbott's lengthy capture of John Abbott, the long marriage, and equally lengthy divorce. Y&R has no patience to tell a far-reaching, endless story like that today. Our short attention spans and weak minds can't take it. Oh, I love that comment, Gary, that, yeah, you're right. Tara would have been entrenched in the mansion for months. I mean, I'm complaining about storylines that stretch out for 3 weeks, but you are right, man. This would have been stretched out for months if this were the old days. I do remember the stories moving slower, and that was in the 90s even. But I also like a lot your point that Tara hasn't really gotten anywhere with Kyle. All we did see this week was that little scene where it seemed like Kyle was kind of testing Tara to find out what her motives might possibly be. And he asked her about, like, okay, well, I mean, I don't want to hold you up if you're interested in getting on with your life or dating or whatever. And you could see the sparkle in her eyes and the way she was looking at him. Like, she didn't want to date anybody else. She wanted to date him. But that's as far as she's even gotten. I mean, she's not made any moves on Kyle. They've not had any looks between each other that they've both decided to pull away from. No, I mean, Tara has not at all been successful in seducing Kyle, if that was indeed what she was trying to do. Well, Diana says, why didn't Sally just tell Jack what the text said? She should have just told Jack the truth about the wording on the text message. Telling Jack she didn't pay attention to what was on the phone was not believable at all. Sally could have explained that the reason Tara was so upset was because she realized Phyllis was purposely causing trouble for both of them by using manipulation. We as the audience know Phyllis is in the right, but Jack and Kyle would not know this if they were given the explanation. If anything, it would make Phyllis look bad and desperate by resorting to childish pranks. And Heather says, I completely agree. I feel really annoyed that the writers made you be okay with the Sally and Jack reunion, only to break them up a minute later. What does Y&R want to do with Sally? She lies, acts innocent, gets caught, whines, and restarts. They need to redeem her or just go crazy with her character. I love the actress and I want to like Sally like I did on B&B, but it's getting harder every day. Yeah, it definitely was an unsettling breakup between Jack and Sally. They got back together pretty quickly, and then they broke up again pretty quickly. And it seemed like the way they broke up and the reasons that they broke up just seemed kind of messy. It just wasn't real. It wasn't real satisfying. I feel like the Tara expose is more interesting and is going to be bigger, but exposing Sally's part in all of this just didn't drop my jaw. I mean, Jack holding up the cell phone and showing her the video was the greatest moment of it all, but it just, I don't know, I didn't feel like, it wasn't explosive to me. And I agree with Heather that something needs to be done with Sally. Is she a reformed good girl that she's always saying that she is, or is she like this crazy wild bad girl? And yeah, I mean, not everything's black or white. She could definitely be both, but it's not, if she is both, it's not being done all that well. I still like her though, that's the thing. Like, I don't dislike Sally out of any of this. And I need to not dislike Tara either, but for some reason Tara, I don't know, Tara bugs me more than Sally. Who do you dislike more? Or do you dislike either of them? Who do you dislike more? Sally or Tara? Sue W says, I never have liked Sally and Jack together. I too agree that their relationship ping-ponging has been annoying. Let's hope that the nonsense is finished. The reveals are soon to explode. So I hope to see Sally rise up from the ashes. Yes, like a baby phoenix. And remain in Genoa City. Phyllis could win this round, but let's have Sally go after her man. Or better yet, Nick go after Sally. You know, it's crazy. Really, really like Phyllis and Nick, but I kind of do like the idea of Sally and Nick too. I like the rivalry with Sally and Phyllis. I think they definitely work going at it. And I don't feel like I'm ready to be done with Sally's story. I want Sally's story. I want to know what it is. I want to know who she is. I guess that's the thing. I'm not sure Y&R has done a good enough job of establishing who she really is. She's kind of a floater at this point. Floaters grab a life vest. Ellen says, Summer ran to Italy when she could have stayed and handled the situation. She had plenty of backup to fight Tara. All the Abbotts, plus all the Newmans. I don't care about Phyllis and her vendetta. Get a life of your own, Phyllis. Summer, the phenom, made her choice. Butt out for once. And I really don't like Sally getting burned once again. She's a bit shady, but she's no worse than the rich, entitled characters. But watch, she will pay a big price, unlike the Silver Spoon Club, just like Theo. ugh. Yeah, that's how I feel too, is that Summer left. Summer made this decision. So Summer is accountable for, how she handled it all too. Yeah, and again, I think it's, to me, I don't know. I want to see Tara go down. Y&R has given me some reasons to want to root for Sally. She was around. They started talking about her redemption story. We know she's a designer. She's got this job. Like, we know she's talented. She's interesting to look at. Like, there's reasons to want to root for Sally. I don't feel like I have as many reasons to root for Tara right now, but it wouldn't be hard to give me a few. It's just that Y&R really has done nothing to soften Tara or to give us much of her backstory or to give us any reason to root for her. So I feel like, who do I like better? Who do I dislike more? I feel like I like Sally better and I dislike Tara more. But, oh man, this is a very insightful comment about Sally from Sherrod, who says, I think I get why Sally wants to be with Jack. It's the same reason Quinn wanted to be with Eric Forrester. It is truly not about money. What it is about, sadly, is their self-worth. Women like this believe that men of respectable society can give that to them too. They want to be on the inside, not looking from the outside. They believe being with these men, people will treat them they believe that being with these men, people will treat them with respect. But as we all know, that's not always the case. And in most cases, it's best to earn that respect with your own merits. That is so interesting, Sherrod. And I think that really does sum up Sally's character, too. I think it is that she wants to be on the inside, not on the outside looking in. And we've kind of heard her express sentiments like that in the past, like she just feels like she has to work twice as hard to get anywhere. And the sad thing is probably she'll continue to have to work twice as hard to get anywhere. But why she blow her own life up? Why did she need to resort to any of this? I kind of feel like Sally didn't really need to get involved with, Sally wanted Summer's job. Bleegity bloom blong blong, whatever, there's a million jobs. What does it matter to her, really, if she gets Summer's job? Why did Sally have to go against her whole, I just want to be a good girl, I just want to have my life? Why did she need to blow all of that for a job? And secondarily, she didn't need Tara to get Jack. What did Tara really do for her to help her get Jack back? Nothing. There was no real manipulation as to get Jack back. She manipulated to get Summer's job, yes. But she didn't really manipulate to get Jack back. I mean, he made his own choices. He went willingly with her into that relationship. So what did she need Tara for there? I don't know. I think you make a really great point as to why she's attracted to Jack. I think that's an interesting perspective. Well, hey, Superplex, always letting us know when Lauren looks fantastic, and I agree. It was nice to see Lauren this week. We sure are getting a good amount of Lauren and Michael on the show. We never see them together, though. It seems like it's been a while. We've had a couple. I think there was a nice little scene with Chloe, Kevin, Lauren, and Michael a few weeks ago. But yeah, it seems like we see them separately more than we see them together. But speaking of people looking fantastic, Jamie says, Allie, you are in for a treat today. Prepare yourself for a sexy Nate sighting. And T. Nicole says, I thought of Allie the second I saw Nate in Chancellor Park. And Gary said, Allie will have the vapors. I literally was taken aback when I saw Nate jogging through the park shirtless. I did say, okay. I was kind of lazy on Y&R that day, but the minute he came onto the street, I was on full alert. And I really could feel you all thinking of me. I somehow knew that you guys were thinking of me and happy for me that I was getting that moment. And it was funny because actually Gary left me a comment last week about my Nate chat last week where I was saying, I don't even know what it is about him that I find attractive. And Gary posed the idea that maybe it's because Nate is a little bit outside of the action. Because I have said in the past, and I still agree, like, Michael Baldwin is probably my favorite character on the show. He's the character that I identify with the most as far as personality goes. Like, if I was going to be friends with anyone, it would be Michael. And I thought it was interesting that Gary kind of remembered me saying that and connected it into why I like Nate. It's that possibly that maybe I kind of like characters who aren't exactly fully entrenched in the drama that's driving the show, but are maybe just sitting a little bit outside of it. Or I think Gary maybe called it sitting above the action, but I feel like it's maybe more on the outside of the action. It's like they're kind of watching the craziness go down and reacting to it as opposed to forcing the drama forward. And maybe that is part of the reason why I'm all about the Nate. But Ellen says, so Nate is the new true chief of surgery, even though he can no longer perform surgery? Is that realistic? I thought the same thing. I honestly did have the exact same thought, because it's not realistic at all. How can Nate be the chief of surgery if he can't do surgery? I honestly thought when Nate was jogging in the park shirtless, saying he had good news, blah, 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 blah. I mean, I went into like the Charlie Brown. Anybody else could have been the teacher from Charlie Brown. I was like, I didn't hear anything. I just saw Nate jogging shirtless in the park while was coming out of his mouth. But I did hear something about him having some good news, and he wanted to celebrate it with Elina. And I thought it was going to be his miracle hand recovery. I thought he was going to say, I had another check on my hand. The doctor, they know how important my hand is. The doctor said there was something they were going to be able to do for me, and I'm getting my hand back. But that was not what it was. And I did think to myself, what? Chief of surgery? Okay. Surgeon who can't do surgery. Okay. But Ellen also says, P.S. Congratulations, Devon. I hope punching Nate made you feel super manly. Was it worth ending all those important surgeries? Probably hundreds of people Nate can never help. Still waiting for some sign of remorse or regret, but nope. The super rich just get away with a lot on this show. Are they ever going to circle back to that? It's like such an important plot point that really establishes why there could and should be tension between Devon and Nate, and it's just gone. I mean, I think Nate is definitely a turn the other cheek kind of guy in that way. I mean, Devon totally did an action that changed his life forever, and Nate, I think, felt so bad about the fact that he slept with Elina that he just accepted it, and he really never mentions it, and it's just this part of his character that goes unmentioned, and it's a part of Devon's character that goes unmentioned, and I think there's so much dramatic play that could be going on there. Well, last week I asked you guys, Imani or Elina, who is the better match for Nate? Now, 60% of the Y&R Chatters voted for Elina. Elina was the winner. Southside Granny says, Elina gives a sense of security, peace, and a grounded presence. Imani's presence comes across as a few rolls in the hay and nothing stable. Yeah, I think so too. Oh, that's good. Security, peace, and grounded presence. I think that is why Elena's character is appealing, and I think I do tend to be drawn to characters like that equally too. I mean, you can say that those are the boring characters or whatever, but you need those types of characters on the show. They're not, they're not like crazy, they're not like driving the drama, but they're there to react to it, and I think that's an important piece too. Marianne V says, Nate and Elina have a lot more in common, but I don't know if she is over Devon. Imani is unattached, but they don't have a lot in common, and she's a big flirt. Oh, so you're kind of not really feeling either of those options. Who else that is single would be a good, well, I guess they don't even have to be single if Chloe and Adam are going to go cook up. Who else would you rather see Nate with? 40% voted for Imani and Nate, which 40% is not bad for a newcomer. We haven't known Imani for that long, and we've known Nate and Elina for far longer. So I think Imani came up with a strong second place. Astra says, I voted for Imani because I kind of like her boldness and feel she is more interesting than Elina. Plus, I feel Elina has squandered her chances with Nate too many times. He deserves someone who only has eyes for him, and right now, that's Imani. That's true. You know, and also I will say this, being that Nate is a character who's kind of outside the action, and that Elina is kind of in that same way. She's sort of, you might qualify it as boring, or she just sort of, what did Southside Granny say? Grounded. You know, you almost kind of want a balance in the couples where one of the people is grounded and the other person is a little bit more bold. So yeah, in that way I could see why Nate and Imani would make a more interesting pair. And Brini says, Nate and Elina go back and forth too much and I'm over it. Imani is spunky like Hillary. Most of the time she isn't nice, but maybe she can liven up boring Nate, even if it won't be a long-term relationship. Nate always has that sparkle in his eye, but after all the drama with Elina, I feel it dimmed and he can't fully trust her. She doesn't know what she wants either. Both of them just need to move away from each other. Nate does have a sparkle in his eye. I wish they would do something a little more with him. You're right. I mean, it's not particularly exciting. Well, here's something that I always find exciting. Set chat. And today's edition of Set Chat all seems to revolve around Sharon somehow. So let's start out with Leslie, who says, how long has it been since Sharon visited the Abbott mansion? Oh, that's a good question, Leslie. Gosh, can you guys even remember the last time that Sharon would have showed up at the Abbott house? Gee, I can't. Man, I mean, she would have had to have just been there visiting Jack. Maybe after Dina died, did she swing by? I'm not sure. But I'll never forgive her for the time she tried to redecorate it. Y&R viewer says, does everyone in Genoa City sit at the same table in Crimson Lights? Yeah, so it all comes back to Sharon and her business, too, here on Set Chat. Yeah, it does seem like every single conversation, sort of just like Gary mentioned a couple weeks ago at the park, always in the same spot. At Crimson Lights, all the conversations are at that same table. Maybe it has something to do with the social distancing, and that particular table they just know is a safe place to film from 6 feet away. But what about the booths? I feel like since COVID happened, we have had some scenes in the booths. Why don't these people go for the booths? I always go for the booth. Everyone does. In real life, everyone goes for the booth, right? If you don't go for the booth, tell me. But you know you go for the booth first. Like you go in the restaurant, you're eyeing the booth first, not the table, the booth. Even if it's just one person and their laptop, they're going for the booth. And one more Set Chat comment here about Crimson Lights. Ellen notes, a brownie costs $4 at Crimson Lights? Must be some pretty special brownies. I have noticed that sign on the counter many times. Brownies, $4. Yes. Those must be Sharon's special brownies. Maybe Sharon is moonlighting Crimson Lights as it's a coffee shop / dispensary, and those are special brownies for $4 a piece. Or maybe those are just premium brownies made with locally sourced artisan milk, and Sharon is in the back room roasting the cocoa beans herself. Okay, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this version of Set Chat, not to be outdone by Paper Chat. Oh, if you haven't, I think you should go to yrchat.com to leave me your comments. Vote in the poll. Tell me if you are still noticing COVID restrictions on a daily basis. Tell me who you hate more, Tara or Sally. You can guess the Who Said It quote, and you can jump in on the daily conversation there. Oh, I almost forgot. I was going to forget to say this. I am taking my daughter on a little, her first kind of vacation. She's never been on a vacation, sleeping in a hotel before. So I'm just going for 2 days midweek. I will be back in time for next Sunday's Y&R Chat, but if you are checking the website daily, you'll definitely notice that I haven't updated the pictures and stuff, so there'll be a couple of days next week where the site will just look the same and I won't have the screen caps, but when I get back, I'll watch all the shows, I'll upload all the screen caps, and I'm sure I will have had a good time. I did swim lessons for my daughter all summer long, and now I'm taking her to a little resort. I mean, that's kind of a big word for, I don't know, it's just a hotel that has more stuff for kids. They have just kind of an indoor pool with some slides and stuff that she can play on, and I'm gonna get in the water with her and see how she does. And they have a little mini golf course. She just finished, or no, Monday she finishes up her tennis lessons. We did tennis. Just kind of trying a little bit of everything with her. I did dance for a while, which is really just tumbling at a dance school. And then, we joined a gym too this week, so we're gonna instead, like, you know, because summer sports kind of die down and then there's nothing to do, so we joined a gym so that they have a pool so we can keep swimming through the winter and keep practicing that, because, you know, you just don't learn swim when you're 4 years old very quickly. So I'm gonna keep reinforcing the stuff, and then they have other stuff that's kind of like tennis that we could play together, and lots of activities and stuff that hopefully we'll be able to do together there and keep physically active during the winter months. But yeah, anyway, so I'm excited about vacation, taking her out to eat and do a couple of different things. Oh, and they have a little arcade and stuff at the resort, so I'm excited that she'll be able to have some fun and sleep somewhere different and wake me up way too early and put me in a bad mood for the whole rest of the day, I'm sure, but I'm gonna soldier through. Oh, Mama doesn't like to even talk or acknowledge until I've had my pot of coffee. So we're gonna have to set up some restrictions, some morning time restrictions. Oh, but yeah, okay. So that's it. Like I said, I will be back next Sunday. I hope that you come back next Sunday and join me for another riveting Y&R Chat. I love you guys. I'll see you next time.